Yo, what's good, YouTube? This is Jay from TNJ, and welcome back to the Denver Bears franchise. Now, we continue season number 4. It's been a whole lot of fun. This Bears team has definitely surprised a lot of teams. Now, one thing I have not revealed yet are the subscriber prospects who have made it into the series. Now, all of these guys that are renamed are going to be first round draft picks for the previous season, and then each year that's what we will do. So you guys submit guys. It won't be this episode. It will be probably outside of an episode, probably in the community tab is usually when I do it now. So stay tuned for that each season. But here are the players for this year. Now, there are a lot of good guys. You know, kind of a questionable one were the Giants. I mean, they've drafted 3 straight closing pitchers in the first round. I mean, it's going to help their bullpen in the future, but right now, I mean, they haven't gotten any guy that's going to be a guy they can build around, which is pretty interesting. Now, looking at other teams, Austin Allen goes to the White Sox. He was a decent prospect, 22 years old, 65 overall. And then Mario Cleveland was one of the guys that I was actually looking in the draft for. He ends up being a 70 overall, B potential, but 24 years old, a little older. And then probably one of the worst first-round picks was Colin Helms. He's playing for the Detroit Tigers right now. He's in single A ball. Finn McNamara was pretty good. He was a C potential guy, but a high overall guy at a very young age, 20 years old, 74 overall. And here are the rest of the prospects. Now, with these guys, I will try to cover them as much as possible, especially when we play them. And then when I show, league statistics and things like that, hopefully some of your guys will show up. There are a couple of pretty good players. This draft was interesting. I don't think this was the strongest of drafts. Based on potential, I think they had a lot of high overall guys, kind of like Jacob Benford, who ends up being a starting pitcher who is 75 overall, but still in A ball for some reason, and he's one of the best pitchers in the organization. I'm sure he'll be moved up next year. And then Caden Robnett ends up being a D potential. He was the lowest potential first round player going to the Los Angeles Angels. So back to the Bears here. We are 28-19. We have snuck over the Dodgers here for first place. And now we end the month of May in a 2-game set versus them, and then a 3-game set leading into June versus the Giants. And so far this season, some guys have been surprising. Garrett Hampson isn't, though, hitting over 300 for the second straight year. Josh Fuentes, though, after a very slow start, has gotten his average up to 313. Will Benson's hitting 269, hitting very well this year. I'm happy about that. And so is Charlie Blackmon hitting good based on his age. So I don't want to say he's having an excellent season, but hitting good based on, how old he is and how he's declining, doing tremendous. Ramel Coffer is probably having the most surprising year out of any pitcher on our staff. He is pretty much has turned into one of, if not the best player at the MLB level right now, but we'll have to see as far as pitchers go. Now, one guy I do want to move up here is Trez Jenkins. He was our minor leaguer of the year in season 1, so I want to make this move, moving him up to the majors, and I want to give another boost to this bullpen, who's already third in the league in ERA, our pitching staff is, so I definitely want to add to that. Why not? I mean, why not make the strongest part of our team stronger right now? Raimel Tapia suffers, though. He will go down to the AAA level, and we will have to make that move in order to make room for Trez Jenkins. And now we hop into this 2-game set versus the Los Angeles Dodgers, the team who we are chasing in this division. They have been very, very good in this series. 2 World Series rings already. Here is a lineup for them. Cody Bellinger, remember, re-signed with them in the offseason, that $310 million contract over 10 years. And then they also signed Tyler Glasnow to a free agent deal. He is number 2 in their rotation behind Kershaw and also Walker Buehler. I guess he's number 3. And then we put on the mound Tristan McKenzie. We'll see what he can do on the road at beautiful Dodger Stadium. So here we are, and Tyler Glasnow has been very, very good this year. Pretty much unhittable. Let's see what we can do. As here is CJ Abrams and Garrett Hampson striking out back-to-back to open the game. Jesse Winker's hitting 274. That average has dipped just a little bit, but still hitting very well. And here is a fly ball to the left side of the infield. He just missed that one. 3 up, 3 down for the Bears. On to the bottom of the first inning. Here is Donovan Casey, their leadoff hitter, who's hitting below 200 to start this year, as that one will be a fly out to Will Benson in right field. Mookie Betts up to the plate now. He's hitting that 3 spot. This is another fly ball, but Benson will get over to this one, and that one will be 3 outs for the Bears as well. So on to the bottom of the third inning. Here is Gavin Lux at the plate with 1 out. He drives one deep down the right field line. This one does have carry, and it's going to be gone. It stays fair, and that is 389 feet off of the bat of Gavin Lux, his 8th home run of the year. And that one will give the Dodgers the 1-run lead here in the third inning. The top of the lineup back at the plate. Here is Casey, though. Ground ball to second. And we will get out of this inning, but a 1-run lead for the Dodgers. Jesse Winker up in the top of the 4th inning. He goes to center field, and that one was a low pitch. He went down and got that one, but Winker's such a good hitter. Gets on base with a leadoff single here with no outs. That brings up Keston Hiura, who has been hitting tremendous so far in that 4th spot. His average is a little low, but when he's got runners in scoring position, he usually comes through, as there's a fly ball to Bellinger, who's playing in center field today. Fuentes at the plate, an off-speed pitch. He hits it right on the screws that time, but that one will be a out. Lux was right there in the right position. Brendan Rodgers comes up with 2 outs, and he checks swings, and he does not go around. So now we have men on first and second with Elias Diaz at the plate. Hitting actually really good, 286. And he watches a low fastball. Did not pull the trigger on that one, and they will get out of that inning. His Glasnow is pitching very, very well. Moving on to the bottom of the 5th inning, Tristan McKenzie is still pitching pretty well. Besides that home run he gave up to Lux, nobody's really been able to touch him. Here is Gavin Lux back at the plate. Ground ball to short. This one will be thrown to second. And a force out as Keston Hiura steps on second and gets us out of that inning. The Dodgers decide to go to their bullpen maybe a little too early for me. Juan Then comes out of the pen, and he is an okay pitcher. He leaves one over the plate, and that one's driven deep to right, off of the wall. That one looked like it went over the wall for a second. It hit off of the top of it, but C.J. Abrams ends up with his 7th double on the year. And they quickly go to the bullpen again, and then bring in Garrett Clevenger. Now, Then had been in the game for about an inning before that at bat, so they already pulled the trigger on him and bring in Clevenger. Now that brings up Winker, and that's a walk. So that brings up Keston Hiura, who's been hitting tremendously with guys in scoring position. He has a high pitch in the zone, and he chases that one. Maybe a little anxious that time. 1 out. Fuentes now inside slider, and he gets fooled as well. So 2 outs with men in scoring position, no outs. That's going to bring up Rodgers, and he swings and misses. 3 bad pitches that the Bears swing at, and now that moves us into the bottom of the 7th. For us, Tristan McKenzie is still on the mound at this point. He gets a ground ball up the box, and that one will be fielded into the shift. And we get out of the 7th inning as McKenzie is putting in a good outing. Nick Goody comes into the game here in the bottom of the 8th inning, now with guys on second and third. This one will be a shallow fly ball to center as Hampson runs that one down. That brings up Donovan Casey back to the plate here with men on second and third, and that one will be a walk. So that brings up Jacob Amaya to the plate here. 3-2 count with 2 outs. Let's see if the Bears can avoid more runs coming across the plate for the Dodgers. Here's a high pitch, and that one is ball 4. Nick Goody walks 2 straight batters, and that's going to bring up Mookie Betts with the bases loaded. Now a 2-0 game. Here's Goody leaving one up in the zone, and Betts just misses this one. It's a fly ball, and that one will be caught by C.J. Abrams, the young shortstop. And now we move on to the top of the 9th inning. Fuentes at the plate here with 1 out. He hits one down the left field line, and we need 2 runs, but it's a good start here, getting 1 man on first base. Brendan Rodgers 1 for 2 in this game, and he swings and misses at another pitch that's way out of the zone. This Bears team has been very, very anxious at the plate. That brings up Elias Diaz, who is our last hope. He hits one hard to left field, and that one will get to the gap all the way to the wall. and in left field, and that one will score one. Josh Fuentes does come across the plate, and now it's a 2-1 game. This game stays alive here in the top of the ninth inning with 2 outs. They actually go to the bullpen bin and bring in Gratterall, who will be the guy that hopefully will get them the save as he faces Will Benson, who was 0 for 3 in this game. Low pitch, but Will Benson drives this one deep. It's gone. The absolute progression of Will Benson in this series has been tremendous. Remember, we traded him for Trevor Story 1 for 1 in season number 1, and now after 3 seasons of really struggling to find his position in this organization, Will Benson has come through. He's hitting great in that 6 spot, in that 6-7 spot, even hits in that 2 spot at times. Man, he can really drive the baseball. So in that nice spot, we bring in Corey Dickerson, who is an excellent pinch hitter in this series. He gets a pitch low, and this one's driven deep. It's got actually a lot of carry on this one, and it will reach the wall. Back-to-back home runs in the 9th. What has happened in this game? We end up scoring 4 runs in the top of the 9th inning, and look at the Bears. We absolutely come alive here after Tyler Glasnow comes out of the game. And Dickerson, what a signing he has been. We signed him after spring training, and he has done so good for us. That brings up Garrett Hampson, who has just not gotten going as of late. That one will be another strikeout for him. So now we bring in our closer to close out this game, Jordan Hicks, into the game. He has been our best relief pitcher this year. He faces Bellinger, and he strikes him out. And that will be 1 out in the inning. Will Smith at the plate, 0 for 3 in this game. He goes to opposite field. This one will get to the wall, and Will Benson giving chase to this one, but it will be a double as Benson gets to throw in. But now they have a man on second base with 1 out in this inning. Max Muncy at the plate. He is the game-tying run as he hits one to left field. That one gets through. Winker comes up throwing, and the throw will not be in time. It's 4-3 now as the Dodgers trim this lead back down to 1. Edwin Rios at the plate, 2 for 3, hits one hard down the left field line and gets past Brendan Rodgers, who's playing third base today, and that one will be fielded off of the wall by Winker. If that was Fuentes, that probably would have been caught. But Brendan Rodgers playing at third today lets that one get by his glove. So we do intentionally walk the next batter to load up the bases to possibly end the game on a double play. We leave Jordan Hicks in the game as they bring in Caden Rogers, one of our subscriber prospects, into the game. He has been in a bench role this year, hitting .375. And now he faces Jordan Hicks, one of the best relief pitchers in baseball. And this one's hit down the left field line. It gets past third, and it will score 2. The Dodgers will win and take over first place. Wow. How about this game? No team could score through the first 9 innings, and all of a sudden in the 9th, the Bears are up for 4 runs, and the Dodgers get 3 to win the game. How about this? Wow. We end up losing first place off of that, but it is a 2-game set, so we can make it up next game. But what a way to end it. We almost had it's not really a walk-off, but I guess the go-ahead home runs by Will Benson and Corey Dickerson. That was very, very clutch of them, but it did not matter. The Dodgers showed in the 9th inning that they are still the best team in this division. But now we look for revenge in this second game, as we will finish the season versus LA and then 2 games on the road versus the Giants. But look at this month. We have been doing tremendous. So we start out this game in the bottom of the 7th inning. Freddie Peralta actually pitching a pretty good game in this one. He actually has been struggling so far. But with a 2-0 lead, we have what we want here. But now the Dodgers have a guy on second base with 1 out. Gavin Lux at the plate, who went deep in the first game, and he will just fly out to right field. Nobody's running on Will Benson anymore. He's got that great arm. I believe it's at 96. That's his rating there for his arm strength. So that brings up the next batter, and that one will be a pop-up in the infield, and we will get out of the 7th. Freddie Peralta has thrown 7 innings, giving up 0 runs. They bring in Brandon Workman out of the bullpen here. Let's see if we can add some extra insurance. We will definitely need to close this one out, though, as that brings up Keston here, a 1-for-2 in this game. He faces Workman up at the plate. He drives this one deep to left center. This one actually has some carry, an outside pitch, but it's gone. Keston Hiura with the power versus right-handed pitchers. It definitely shows right there. How did he drive that one out of the park? An outside pitch, and that's over the wall in left center. I mean, that just shows the power off of Hiura's bat. And that makes it a 3-0 lead here. So we do decide to go back to Jordan Hicks. I mean, we need to give this guy his confidence back, hopefully shutting down the Dodgers in this 9th inning as he faces Will Smith, and that one will be a strikeout. He's got some heat around that fastball. And now there's one out. That brings up Max Muncy, who got the rally going last time. He hits one to left field. That one is away from the shift. Every single time we have a shift on, it seems like they always beat it. And that one will be a double down the left field line. Jordan Hicks gives up a hit, and we're having a little bit of deja vu. Edwin Rios in the game, though. Outside slider. He's just looking. And now there are 2 outs in this inning. And now the Dodgers are down to the last out. Gavin Lux at the plate, 0-for-2 in this game. And it's just a pop-up behind the plate. There we go. We end up splitting with the Dodgers here to end the month of May. And how about this start to this season for the Bears? We end up taking over first place with this win. And I love what I'm seeing from these guys. Having a tremendous year so far. Every single one of these guys. I mean, everybody's doing their part. And the one thing I love about this season more than most seasons is that we have the depth to make decisions like on a fly. If somebody's doing poorly this year, we can just say, hey, we can just send them down, bring up Ramil Tapia, bring up Muhammad Willingham, who knows, bring up Zach Veen, who knows. I mean, we have so much depth now that we can just make that call whenever we want. And we get victories like this now, 3-0. Our pitching staff, one of the best in the majors statistically at this point, which I'm very, very happy about. We end up splitting at the end of the month versus the San Francisco Giants before getting into the draft here, and we start the month of June with another game versus the Giants. But still, I love what this team is doing. Look at the amount of wins in the second half of that month, and that propels us actually to second place after splitting with the Giants. We actually are a half game behind the Dodgers. But now we look forward to the draft episode. Now, the top blue chippers in this season are pretty much clear cut. Amos Butcher is obviously the best guy. I believe we're going to be drafting somewhere between 4 and 8. I'm not sure what spot we're going to have. But Amos Butcher is a 21-year-old pitcher. He is obviously the best prospect in this draft. I expect him to go number 1 overall. The guy I'm hoping that falls, though, is Tommy Spencer. I think he is probably our top prospect besides Butcher, because Butcher's probably going to go number 1. But I like Tommy Spencer. He's a right-handed 20-year-old out of Ohio. Still has about 3 years of development, but he's going to start out with mid-60s overall. Then I go down the board a little bit, and we have scouted very, very well this season, probably the best we've ever scouted. And I decided to find a lot of 80 potential guys just to unlock them, to see if they will fall in the draft to us. Benite Ramiro is one of the guys I'm considering in the first round. He is obviously a guy that I really, really like. But the guy I pointed out last episode was Patrick Summers. Now, one of you guys pointed out to me in the comment section that this is probably going to be a guy that is, since he's older, he's probably going to be in high B potential, probably like 88, 89, 87, somewhere around there, because he has 80 potential when he's 24. So I want to keep that in mind, but I still like him a lot because I think he can contribute earlier rather than, 3 years down the road. We've done this before with other prospects where we had to wait, and we've only really seen one pitcher get to the MLB level in this series from our minor league system. Adrian Castilla is a guy I am considering as well in the first round. He's 80 potential, a great fielder. If he is there, I could potentially go after him as well. Now, looking towards maybe like the second round, maybe the third, I'm looking at Johnny Gonzalez. He's another 24-year-old pitcher, so that's why I probably won't, reach for him. I kind of like our other pitchers that we highlighted in the first round, but I like Adam Blankenship a lot. Like, if he's there in the second round, I probably will go after him. He is only 70 potential, but I can see that as maybe like an 80. I'd say an 80 rating, 80, 79, 78. And with performance, he can be very, very good. And he's at 70 overall right now, and he's 18 years old. I think that's the thing that I really, really value, even having a 70 potential. Richard McDaniel is a guy I hope that falls to. He is a good relief pitcher, 75 potential, 22 years old though, but we'll see what happens with him. The wild card in this draft really is Tom Irizarry. Tom Irizarry. He is very, very good, but we have half of his rating scouted. Right now he's listed at 80 potential, 80 overall. That's probably not going to be accurate, but it's very, very intriguing. What if it is accurate? Who knows? He is 20 years old, a good shortstop. If he falls to maybe the second or third round, since we don't have much accuracy on him, I don't want to take that risk early on. So we'll have to see if he's still there. Other guys to look at are Sheldon McCready late in this draft. I think this is a guy that could fall because I kind of scouted him later and I discovered him later. So that kind of tells me that maybe other teams haven't scouted him yet. And then there's other guys like Oliver Garcia, a catcher who is 80 potential. I'm looking after him, but he is probably going to come in with very low overall. I kind of like to get guys that are going to be closer to their MLB ETA for now, not the 2028 plus. I kind of stay away from the plus years where it says, 2029 plus, 2027 plus. I usually stay away from those guys. Then there's a couple other guys here like Robbie Span, who is a left-handed second baseman. I guess a left-hitting second baseman. He's very good as well. So we start the month of June with draft day. You can just see the start of our schedule is actually pretty, I'd say, lighter. Milwaukee isn't the great team that they once were. The Angels are pretty good. Then Miami is kind of, a middling team. They signed a bunch of free agents in the offseason, but I don't think they're there yet. And then we end the season versus the Dodgers, Atlanta, Seattle, and Texas. So that Dodgers series is going to be a big one for our division. And the Atlanta series, that's definitely a tough team as well, so we'll have to see. So hit subscribe, hit that like button. Next episode will be draft day, so you don't want to miss that. So stay tuned. Let's get it. Let's go.
I like getting money, I got time to get it. Target on me, so my car's a tinted. Dancing with the devil, I don't bargain with it. Bobbing in the dash, and the stick is with it. And I hit the 4-5 on the west side. But I'm from the east side, this how we slide. This how we ride, yeah, this how we ride.